Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to go over all of the dividends that I received for the month of April. We're going to focus mostly though on my Average Joe Dividends portfolio, which is a taxable stock brokerage account over at M1 Finance. We can see over the last 3 months, we are still down. We had the all-time highs here in late February. Went in a slide, in a bigger slide because of course, the tariffs. We've made some gains back and looks like we're touching the 270s again. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump into the activity log here and we're going to filter this down by dividends for the activity type because I like to show you guys the actual proof of me receiving the actual dividends rather than just reading from a spreadsheet. A lot of people like to do that, but I like to show you guys the proof, the actual money going into my account. What I do is, for most of the positions, what I do is I reinvest those dividends right back into the stock that paid them, except for SCHD and BST. And we're going to see also a couple dividends that rolled in this morning that completed my dividends for April, and we're going to see the result of those dividend drips. We're going to see the next new dividends that we're going to receive, the average new dividend. We'll do some historicals as well, and I'll show you how these dividends have been growing year over year. So let's start with April 1st, where Allstate paid me $6.74, and then also on April 1st, Coca-Cola paid me $11.75, and then to close out April 1st, ADP paid $4.56, and then on the 2nd, Nvidia paid a whole 43 cents, and then Kimberly-Clark also on the 2nd, $13.49, and then HP paid $7.45 on April 2nd, and then on the 7th, Merck paid me $12.65, and then on the 10th, Illinois Toolworks paid $9.22. And we can see, Realty, or Realty Income, that is a monthly payer, and it paid me $13.74. Also on the 15th, Fifth Third paid me $19.46. And then Oracle on the 23rd, $8.44, and then also on the 23rd, Cisco, $12.94. And here are the dividends that rolled in this morning on May 1st. M1 has a 1-day delay, but JP Morgan paid me $9.81, and then BST, that paid me $523.35, and BST is another monthly payer, just like Realty Income there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to my Google Docs spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you those dividends counted up. So all these dividends are transferred over to this sheet, and we'll go right over here to the dividend portfolio tab, and we're going to scroll over, and for the month of April we can see these are in the light green because we are in the first month of Q2 for April. You can see here's the amounts right here listed. We're going to scroll down right here. We're going to do a count up on this, and you can see there's the $654.03. That's what we received for the month of April. And what I want to do is I want to show you some historicals. Then we're going to update the sheet because we dripped that BST dividend and also JP Morgan. So we're going to see new dividends, but we didn't drip BST back into itself. It went back into the portfolio. We'll see where that went here in just a few minutes. But let's look back on April of 2023. You can see the dividends were $540.86. April 2024, $595.80. And then we'll scroll down here to April 2025. That's where we're at right now, the $654.03. So you can see how that has gone up over time. for April just over the past couple years. Let me change this over here. And we're also, when we update this sheet, we're going to see a few things change. The average monthly dividend is going to go up. We're going to see that number go up as well. But just in the month of April, we raised that average monthly dividend by $41.35 for a month over month gain of over 4%. You can see here's the annual dividends, and then the annual dividend increase just in the month of April alone. Here were my deposits, which were a little bit higher, and that's because of the stock market drop. I wanted to take advantage of some of the lower prices, so I put in about $5,000 more than usual because of that. You can see here we've recovered already from April into May a little bit, but who knows? Tomorrow it could go back down. We just don't know where the stock market is heading. And what I do is I like to dollar cost average into this portfolio, and you can see we have bigger drops. I like to put in maybe a little bit extra when that happens. So what we're going to do next is we're going to grab some data from M1, because what happened was we'll go to the activity log, and we're going to go to, let's turn that filter. Let's see if it turned off that filter. It sure did. And we can see here are the two dividends that rolled in for JP Morgan and BST. These are not applied yet because they came in this morning, but here's the two buys, and we're going to see what those were. We're going to update my sheet with that, with the two buys. So first up, JP Morgan, this was a dividend, of course, and it went back into JP Morgan. I have it set up to drip automatically back into JP Morgan. That bought 0.04024 shares of JP Morgan, so a small fractional share buy, but it will increase the next dividend, and I'll show you that once we update the sheet. And we can see the BST dividend, that one as well as SCHD, those just go into the portfolio as auto invest, so it will go into whatever is underweighted, just those two. The rest of the positions will go and they'll drip back into the position that paid them. So with the BST drip, it went into SCHD and it bought 20.31669 shares of SCHD. So over 20 shares picked up with that BST drip. And the reason was, I'll go to the portfolio and show you, and we'll go into to show you what's underweighted. You can see the ETFs portion is underweighted. Now I'll leave a link below so you can see what's all in this portfolio. So you can see we're 0.6% underweighted in the ETFs, and within the ETFs you can see we are underweighted here at about 2.5%. SCHD has got to do some catching up to do, and even with that drip, it's still underweighted. So we'll see by the time June rolls around, late June, when SCHD pays that dividend, we'll see what happens with SCHD, if it drips it back into itself, or maybe BST will be underweighted. We don't know. Or maybe a different portion of the portfolio will be underweighted, like a slice will be underweighted. So let's go on over to the holdings tab then, because we saw those two buys, and we're going to grab this data. We're going to paste it into my Google Docs spreadsheet. We'll copy this, and what it's going to do is it's going to update two things. We can see here is the current dividend that SCHD is going to pay, $970.21. This is going to go up as a result of picking up over 20 more shares. We're going to see it change over here for the next dividend. But I predict, though, in Q2, this is going to go up. So I think this is going to go even higher as a result when we get the Q2 SCHD dividend. The other thing that's going to change is JP Morgan with that small dividend drip. We're going to see with that tiny fractional share pickup, this 981 is going to go up by a few cents, and we'll see that change as well. So on to the M1 data tab here. We're going to paste special this in, and it's going to update for JP Morgan and BST, or excuse me, JP Morgan and SCHD. It's going to change those shares, cost basis, and average share price for those two. Go back to the dividend portfolio tab, you can see how that's changed from 970.21 to 975.49. So SCHD, I'm hoping Q2 is going to be well over $1,000. We'll see with that Q2 dividend. And take a look at JP Morgan, even that tiny fractional share pickup with just a dividend drip added a nickel. So from 981 to 986. And I'll show you something here real quick. We're going to do a comparison of the dividends that were paid. Remember the 654.03, but if nothing changed in July, it's going to move from 654.03 to 656.93 with those dividend drips. You can see that. And of course, SCHD, it's going to go up as well. And if I would have dripped it back into BST, it would have gone up by approximately $4. But I want to, auto invest and kind of rebalance the portfolio, and BST is going to help to do that. Let's take a look at the new monthly cash flow average. I should have put down the old one, but we're going to take the 1,073.89. We're going to see it on the monthly average dividend tracking tab. So 1,073.89. 1,073.89. Here's the old one. It was at 1,072.12. So we added an additional $1.77 with the BST and JP Morgan dividend drip in dividend income. And then tomorrow I'm going to have an event that happens, and it's going to be Verizon, because we're going to get a Verizon dividend. I'll show you really quick what that's going to be. We can look that up if we go to the portfolio. And then Verizon's right here. It's within the dividend portfolio. Click on Verizon there. If I go to the 1 month view, I'll see the dividends earned at 61.90. So we'll go there. We'll put that in. I'll show you how I kind of update this. And then we'll change the sheet. We'll get it ready for May dividends as well. So 61.90, not 6,190, but 61.90. And then we're going to put a plus 61.90 because I track all the dividends that come in. And you can see for Verizon how its dividend has been going up. The total dividends of $5.5036. You can see my first dividend was $3.50. You can see how it's going up and up and up as I've bought more Verizon, and also dripping that dividend back into Verizon. So you can see there. If we can even count this, we'll put that 61.90 there, because it's money in the bank. It's going to be coming tomorrow morning. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have $61.90 in the accounts. And let's go ahead and we're going to update the sheets because the Aprils have already paid. And I'll show you kind of how I do this real quick. We'll zero that out. We're going to make the fill color now white, but we're going to use the medium green color here for May. And some of these we don't have updates on Apple and KKR, but we do have them for O and BST, because we'll look those up in just a second. But I'm going to change this over here. I'm going to put that medium green color here for the fill color. And right there, I think is the right one. Looks like the right one, maybe. Let's take a look. I think I may have selected the wrong one there. No, it looks like it's the right one. And I'm going to put the other ones over here and change those. Scroll down right here. We'll change these to the medium green as well. So we've got those, and there again, there's Verizon with the first dividend there. We're going to change O because that's going to be a medium green one as well. We're going to get the new dividend date for O, and I'll show you how I do that. I usually go to dividendinvestor.com and then just type that in and do O. We'll pull up Realty Income. We'll get that new dividend date. And what I do is I add 1 day because M1 has that delay. So dividend pay date is going to be May 16th. is when it's going to hit my accounts. So put in 5/16/25 right there. We'll sort the pay dates. And we've got, there we go, let's see here. And there's O right there. You can see it. Then our next dividend payer will be a PNC. But we'll see though when Apple, KKR, they're going to approximately pay mid-May for Apple, and then KKR looks like it'll probably pay at the end of May, probably the 30th, right around there. So you can see that. So I have to wait for those two to announce, and I'll resort them, and then we'll get our May payers in there. So we'll take a look at the total net worth. We'll close it out with that. We've gone up little bits. We've recovered, but we're not at the all-time highs. And you can see over at Vanguard, you got the IRA, Roth IRA, taxable brokerage accounts. Total right there, right about $456K. Current 401K with current employer at $97K right now. Then over at M1, I have another IRA. You can see right now it's a $671K. Here's the dividend portfolio. Here's some savings accounts right here. And here's my 1 month kind of cushion where I pay things out of right there, Capital One. Then US Bank. Here's my home value. Here's subtracting the mortgage out. Looks like right now we're at 1.7, but we're not at the all-time highs. We'll scroll over. Looks like January, November, we're at 1.8, so we've dropped back down. But when we closed April, we were at 1.675. So we're heading back in the right direction there. So that's all I had to show you guys for the video was the dividends for April. You can see the total from the dividend portfolio was $654.03. But let's go look at the total net worth. We can see all the dividends though for April were $1,767 when you count all sources, and that includes like my 401k paid there in April, and then over the IRA I have BST over there as well. There's the dividend portfolio, and here's savings account interest. So everything counted up $1,767.41. So thanks everyone for sticking to the end of the video. If you got value from the video, please click the like button. Also subscribe so you do not miss future videos. Everyone take care.